Stop spreading manure. Hi everyone, Leo Notenboom here for askleo.com. Supposedly in a report a few years ago, Google admitted you should have no expectation of privacy whatsoever when using their services. The internet went crazy. Many sources proclaimed, "How outrageous, we told you so, Google is evil." Mainstream news outlets picked up the stories from smaller publishers and they all confirmed the entire sordid mess. Except the internet was wrong. Imagine that. Manure, to use a very polite term, was being spread far, wide, and fast. This is where things get complicated. In the television series House, Dr. Gregory House often says, "Everyone lies." On the internet, a similar statement can be made. Everyone has an agenda. Every website, every news organization, every person sending an email, publishing a newsletter, or posting a comment has an agenda of some sort. They have something they want you to do or think or become. All too often, the agenda being promoted is inconsistent, for lack of a better word, with reality. The information presented is almost always colored by an agenda. People highlight facts supporting it, conveniently minimizing or ignoring facts that don't. In the worst case, people fabricate facts to support their agenda. Yeah, I know, not everyone, but some people lie. Perhaps more often than you think. To be honest, we all do it. We color what we say and do with data to support what we believe, often to the exclusion of all evidence pointing out the unthinkable, that we might be wrong. There's an interesting and strange conflict in our culture. Most people realize that if it's on the internet, it must be true, is a sarcastic falsism, expressing just how inaccurate information on the internet can be. Just because it's published on a website somewhere or shows up in your inbox or on Facebook or on YouTube or wherever, doesn't make it true. However, I would wager that most people actually do believe most of what they read on the internet. Those same people, smiling knowingly at that falsism, go on to believe the strangest, most bizarre, completely false things, as long as the information is presented in a seemingly credible way. They do it without thinking and without seeing the irony in their behavior. And from what I've seen, it's getting worse. A couple of terms help explain why this might be. Confirmation bias is the tendency we all have to believe those things that confirm what we already believe and dismiss those that don't. Confirmation bias can be as simple as dismissing alternative viewpoints out of hand and as horrific as being tried and arrested for expressing beliefs that are not commonly accepted. Think Galileo. The problem with confirmation bias, as Galileo so clearly illustrates, is that it often stands in the way of the truth. Put another way, we believe what we want to believe. We believe what matches our own worldview and our own agenda, whether we're right or not. The echo chamber is the tendency of information sources, most notably news media, to repeat each other. In a sense, they use each other as sources. The problem is that a story originating from a single source, be it true or false, can appear to have massive confirmation when we see it presented in a variety of supposedly independent sources. Those sources aren't independent at all. They're just repeating what they heard from each other. And it all started from a single source, a source with an agenda. Things get more complicated still. We desperately want things to be simple. We want things to be true or false, black or white, right or wrong, good or evil. It's much easier to comprehend true and false than it is to deal with the potential uncertainty of mostly true, kind of wrong, or something in between. Unlike whether the sun circles the earth or the other way around, the issues that we consider, discuss, and even rant about are rarely so simple as to have easy yes, no, black or white answers. The folks who write headlines and push agendas know that thinking is hard for many of us. They know that black and white is easier and, bonus, much more sensational. So they pick and choose the facts, supporting a black and white thinking at the exclusion of the significantly more nuanced truth. Is your email private with Google or not? Well, it's not that simple. It's still not a yes or no answer. And yet, organizations believed to have an anti-Google bias drew a sensational black or white conclusion based on a quote taken without complete and proper context, which was then bounced around the echo chamber on multiple sites and dozens of social media sites. Even though some sites posted clarifications and or updates, they often did so too late. The misinformation had spread, or too little. The clarifications remained biased to the pre-existing story or agenda. Email privacy and privacy on the internet in general is critically important and an incredibly complex concept. Services like Gmail, they do process your email and they do filter things like spam and populate indexes so you can search your email quickly. Are there teams of people sitting behind computer monitors reading your email? Almost certainly not. However, unless you encrypt your email, then it is by definition fundamentally not secure. This is nothing new or nothing specific to Google. And yet, in the pursuit of clicks and page views and anti-Google sentiment, some sources pick and choose what to present and sensationalize how they present it. So what's the solution? You. You're the solution. You and I and everyone we know must, and I really do mean must, become more skeptical and more demanding of our news and information sources. You and I must think about what we read. We need to learn to identify the sources and the agenda those sources have that color what they present and how they present it. We need to learn to seek unbiased information and draw our own conclusions. Whenever you accept misleading or inaccurate stories as truth, you've been manipulated to serve someone else's agenda. And when you pass those manipulative stories on to friends and family and acquaintances, well, my friend, you have just turned into a virtual manure spreader. Because manure is exactly what it is. If something sounds outrageous, even if it supports your beliefs, there's a hefty chance it's completely bogus. Overly sensational or outrageous sounding headlines or content are a hallmark of bogus stories. Do a little research. Check and verify the sources. Follow the trail. If they all point back to a single source, or better, no source at all, realize what you're looking at. One source repeated in 1,000 places doesn't make it 1,000 sources. In the past, we could count on the media to fact check and source check for us, but that's clearly no longer true. In the race for media outlets to publish quickly, the effort to make sure it's accurate has apparently been left behind. One of the truly sad casualties of all the information on the internet is how difficult it has become to find the truth and how difficult it is for accurate and important news and information to get the attention it deserves. It's all lost in the noise, covered in manure. The nonprofit world has a term, donor fatigue. This applies to potential contributors who, while supportive of a particular cause or organization, simply get tired of being asked for money, time, or whatever repeatedly. The same is true here. Call it manure fatigue. It's tempting to disregard anything found on the internet as likely to be bogus. Unfortunately, there are legitimate outrages, atrocities, and issues of privacy that really do deserve our attention and understanding. It just takes skepticism and thought to separate the wheat from the fertilizer. Be skeptical. Take the time to question. Take the time to think. For updates, for comments, for links related to this topic and more, visit askleo.com/9419. I'm Leo Notenboom, and this is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.